42-year-old Paul Anthony Vasquez is behind bars after being accused of fatally shooting his estranged wife, 44-year-old Rebecca Letson. At 1:43 a.m. on Thursday the 9th of February, deputies responded to a home on the 1200 block of Farm to Market 1554 in Alice, Texas, after a 10-year-old girl called 911 for help. When deputies entered the premises, they found Rebecca unresponsive with a gunshot wound. The girl told deputies that her father shot and killed her mother with a shotgun. Paul had fled the scene in his vehicle, but the weapon was recovered. Later that day, Paul was arrested following a traffic stop at the intersection of North Cameron Street and East Main Street for reckless driving and driving under the influence. He was taken to the Jim Wells County Jail. Paul was then served with a murder warrant, and he immediately requested an attorney. His bond is set at $1 million. It's unclear what led to the shooting, but authorities said that Paul had a history of violence. The girl was with Protective Services before she was placed into the care of other family members. The investigation into the matter continues. Her mother is wanted by authorities for allegedly abandoning her 2 young children and leaving them with barely any food for 6 weeks. 31-year-old Raven Yates allegedly left her 12-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son alone in their home in the 2000 block of Maplewood Ridge Drive in Roman Forest, Texas. She reportedly abandoned them on the 28th of September until they were discovered living in deplorable conditions on the 14th of November. Police Chief Stephen Carlisle said there was no food in the house, everything was empty. There were some dry beans and spices, but that was it. Investigators said the fridge and cabinets were nearly empty, and the toddler's room reeked of urine. A 12-year-old cannot take care of a 3-year-old for a long period of time, especially over a month and a half, Stevens said. It's dangerous and irresponsible of a parent. Without medical supplies and ways to get food, that's very dangerous. Authorities said that the children have different fathers, and Raven allegedly threatened her elder child that the girl's father would take her and leave her 3-year-old brother alone if she told anyone. Afraid of her mother, the daughter would call her father to get him to order food for the house by telling him that her mother was working. Family members later spotted Raven in Mobile, Alabama without children and contacted the child's father. Stevens said that the 12-year-old's father, who lives in California, flew to Texas and called police when he learned of the children's living conditions. He added that the children had never been enrolled in school for the entire year they lived in Texas. Raven has been charged with 2 counts of abandoning or endangering a child without intent to return. The Roman Forest Police Department is working with police in Alabama to find and arrest the mother. Despite a warrant being out for her arrest since the 6th of December, Raven continues to post actively on social media to thousands of her followers. Raven is also a mother to a 14-year-old daughter who was reported as a runaway before Raven allegedly left her other children. All 3 children have been reunited and are safe and living with a family member, authorities said. On the 9th of February, 60-year-old Anthony Nicholas Argo was sentenced to life in prison for murdering his wife, 55-year-old Linda Schuler Argo, in 2019. At 9:18 p.m. on the 14th of June 2019, Linda's daughter called 911 to request a welfare check on her mother, who lived with Anthony at Westbury Mews apartment complex along Old Trolley Road in Somerville, South Carolina. When officers arrived outside the premises, they could see the victim's motionless body propped up against a couch through the window. They forced entry into the home and found Linda had multiple stab wounds and a 19-inch butcher knife embedded in the right side of her neck. An autopsy report revealed the victim suffered at least 14 stab wounds on her arms, chest, stomach and face before the final fatal blow. Anthony was seen by a witness unconscious in the apartment complex driveway, and he was transported to the hospital with a blood alcohol level of 0.156. Linda's blood was found splattered all over Anthony's jean shorts and a pair of flip-flops that he was wearing. Investigators said that in the weeks leading up to Linda's murder, Anthony stopped going to work before eventually quitting, and he often spent his days drinking at home and buying lottery tickets. Text messages revealed that Linda was concerned about Anthony wasting his money on alcohol, and he was not paying the rent. They were eventually evicted, and Linda was planning to leave Anthony and move in with her daughter the day after the fatal stabbing. Linda's car was filled with her belongings parked outside the apartment complex where she was killed. A neighbour reportedly heard the couple arguing, and Linda was allegedly the victim of domestic abuse. Years after his arrest, Anthony told a witness who testified at trial that he was sick of his wife nagging him and she would never shut up, so he shut her up for good.